And welcome back, guys. This is the I Don't Know Show. I'm Nathan J.
I'm Charlie P.
What's happening? It's been way too long. We're glad to be back. What's going on, Charlie?
It's been like 3 weeks.
It's been like 3 weeks. I know. I was
been
trying
a
to
long
play
time.
it off a second. Like, what's up? It's not been that long. But no, it's been too long.
It's been like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
but,
I'm glad to be back. I know you
A lot
are.
of
We've
stuff.
been a little busy.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Just
stuff going on.
A lot of life stuff happening.
Exactly.
So
Work, life.
just
But,
gets in
we're
the
here.
way.
We're not going anywhere. We are back. We have a really good show for you today. Well, at least we hope it's going to be a good show. We got a lot of really cool things to talk about.
It's gonna be trash.
We got EndGame stuff to talk about. We got Star Wars. We got Sonic. We got Game of Thrones. We got everything. Well, a little bit of everything. That and more on today's show. What's going on, Charlie? What you got for me?
Well, I don't know. I got a few things. I guess I could lead off with the fact that Bill Nye is just going crazy about this asteroid.
Yes, you were telling me about this before the show, and I'm glad you started here because that informed me of what Sir Bill Nye has been saying.
So Bill Nye, he's coming out and saying that this giant asteroid's coming for Earth. He's calling it a killer asteroid, which I guess, yeah, it's huge and it would knock us out, but people are saying, a lot of other scientists are saying that it's going to miss us and it's not going to be here for another 10 years, but he's freaking out and calling the, Chicken Little, the sky is falling, all that business. And, it's just a bunch of hooey, which, if you see something about it, don't worry about it. It's going to fly past Earth in 10 years, if you even remember, in 10 years.
If you aren't up to date about what's going on in space lately, we are pretty much in a shooting gallery for, the next, 100 years.
We're always in a shooting gallery. There's always asteroids coming by. There's always meteorites flying past and all that.
Right, and usually by the time
I'm sure there's a bigger asteroid that's even farther out that's heading straight for us and blah, 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 and whatever. But, just don't worry about it. It's just more hot smoke coming out of Hollywood and all that business.
So why do you think that Bill Nye is just all of a sudden jumping on this asteroid bandwagon? Is it for attention because he's kind of done some weird things recently?
Yeah, because he did some stupid stuff with his Netflix special, and that I'm assuming got canceled because I haven't heard anything about it. And yeah, he's just trying to save face now. He's trying to be all Mr. straight up scientist, and he's just not. He's a fake scientist. He's a TV scientist.
Right.
So.
Huh. That is kind of weird. It seems it sucks that it's like a desperate attempt by somebody that we know and grew up with and stuff. Bill Nye, the science guy.
He just turned into an a-hole, is what he did, and I don't agree with a lot of his stuff anymore.
Just got to him. I think he got a little butthurt.
He got to Hollywood, is what happened because of his Netflix stuff, and then warped his mind, and now he's that guy. So now he's the sky is falling guy.
Well, there's a lot of them out there. He's joining the club of quite a few people. So including Flat Earth Society and just all kinds of different folks that have weird and odd, stupid opinions. But everyone's alled. I have stupid opinions.
And everybody has stupid opinions about something.
Yeah, about something.
But yeah, so in other science news, there's scientists have found a black hole, like a really, really big black hole that's super, super strong, and it's actually pulling in space-time, not just like the particles around it and just like stuff around it. It's actually pulling in space-time, so like it's slowing down and pulling at the actual fabric of space, if you can understand that space is a fabric.
Some Futurama stuff.
And it's actually pulling in space-time and warping everything around it, and they have to take slow pictures, and it's like a 70-second delay, I think, for the shutter, and they can actually see not particles, but the actual fabric of space moving through these pictures. And the pictures come from what they call, I forget what they call it. It's like a acerration disk, I believe is what it's called. It's like the outside of a black hole. And basically it's just all like the light and stuff that you see around it, and it's pulling in all the light, but again, like I said, it's also pulling in the actual fabric of space as well.
Wow. That can't be a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's just tearing space apart. Yeah,
wow.
Basically is what that giant black hole's doing. And it can't be the only one, and I'm sure it's not the biggest one. So I'm sure there's even bigger ones out there that are just tearing stuff
apart. Someone's opening up a portal, man. Seriously.
Yeah, man.
Somebody's trying to get through.
Yeah, somebody's seeing us in trouble. They're trying to come through.
Yeah, trying to come through. I mean, hopefully they have good intentions.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's about as best as I can explain it because I'm not an astrophysicist. But
I mean, and nobody listening is either. I'm quite sure. Maybe you know one, so maybe you can let us know in the comments.
Bring it up to him, or something. I don't know.
Ask him about it. Like, hey, what's going on? I heard on the Adam Mo show about the space and time, the fabric of space being ripped apart. There's something on the wing.
That's all the big, science news that I have. But
hey, that's cool.
We got some video game news that Microsoft Solitaire finally going into the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame.
Finally
if you haven't played Solitaire, seriously, you're probably living under a cave or a rock or something. I'm sure everyone has played this game.
And it finally made it this year, along with Mortal Kombat and Super Mario Kart. All three made it to the Hall of Fame.
Very nice. You would think those games probably would already been in it, but understandable given the time. I mean, video games have been around for a long time, so
right.
I mean, I'm sure like Pong and Pac-Man are in the Hall of Fame. Asteroids.
I feel like Pong was the first inductee. I feel.
I mean, it would make sense. I mean, everybody played that. Everyone's played some form of Pong or Block Breaker or whatever.
Block Breaker, Brick Breaker, whatever you
want to call it. Exactly. Yeah. Well, that's cool. Good for Solitaire. It's a long time coming because I mean, seriously, who hasn't sat around and played that game?
Oh yeah.
You try to play it with
in real life.
I've played it in real
life. Deck of cards out and just play it for real.
Exactly. That's pretty much what I've done over the last few years. I don't really use my computer for. I don't really use computer for stuff much anymore, really.
Yeah, except for just internet.
Like movies and internet and looking something that you can't look up on your phone or it's crappy to look up on your phone. Or of course we're using it right now to record this episode of the Adam Mo Show. But, it's serving its purpose.
Hey, man, they still got a purpose.
Right.
They're still around, not just for Solitaire.
Right.
And yeah, I mean, what else we got?
Well, on game news, we just beat Halo, the anniversary, the very first Halo game. We just got done beating it on Legendary.
Yep.
Again
for like the second or third time.
I mean, this is my third time doing it, but it was the second time on the run-through that we've done because we still haven't got the achievements for it. I know with all the updates, there's achievements glitches. I'm sure some of you that have ever played the Master Chief Collection, that's just...
Yeah, they just don't pop up.
No, they just don't. I don't know.
Once you beat it,
it shows it on there. We've done it
3 times, and it still won't pop up at the bottom.
But it still holds up. We're just old losers that are good at old video games, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Just good at it. Now we're on to Halo 2.
Now we're on to Halo 2 right now. We're getting there on Halo 2. We're going through that. I have a lot more experience with Halo 2 and 3 and beyond than I do with Halo 1, but now I have plenty of Halo 1 experience. So.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, you can't go wrong with Halo. But speaking of Halo, dude, where is Halo Infinite? What's going on? Like
Halo Infinite, it's still coming out. It's still in the works. I think they said like 2021 or 2022 maybe.
And no battle royale mode, but you can create your own and
you can possibly create your own if you'd like.
Which is the way it should be.
Yeah, it's super early, alpha stage
right.
still.
Keep that out of Halo. If you want to make it, just like people make racetracks and
people make grip
forges,
balls, and all that kind of stuff.
That's fine. That's great. Yeah. That's totally fine. That's fine. But just no, there doesn't need to be an actual mode in it because that's all I ever want to play, and then stuff will happen, and it'll ruin the service for everything else in the game and the multiplayer. No.
Yep.
No.
I don't know. Just going back to Halo, I just can't find any new games to play. You know what I mean? Like that's the
right.
reason,
I mean, it's been a problem. Over the last couple
we
years.
Went back to Halo because we ran out of crap to play.
I mean, it's just some things have been disappointing. I mean, Spyro wasn't exactly what I was hoping for.
No.
Kingdom Hearts? I mean,
Kingdom Hearts. It was good.
I mean, it's good, but it wasn't as good. It wasn't received as good. There's a lot of DLC.
Is what it is.
And then Red Dead. We're done. We just want 100% it. But I understand. It's just and the things that keep coming out are. I mean, yes, I'm excited for Mortal Kombat 11. It's it's out now. We're planning on playing it soon, and I've already been spoiled once by the internet because of it, but. It's one of the things that's just really difficult getting online anywhere is everyone's trying to spoil it for everybody.
Yep, spoilers galore for everybody.
I hate people that spoil. I mean, this will be a spoiler, not heavy episode, but it will be on certain things we're going to talk about.
Some
and then
big spoilers.
We'll let you know when we start, and then we'll let you know when we end, so that way you can skip and what time it's going to be. We'll put it in the description on YouTube, and you can go from there. But we have a lot of really cool things to talk about. Charlie and I, over the week, what was it, Monday?
I think so.
Monday in the afternoon, we saw Avengers EndGame, the conclusion to this particular phase and Avengers series. Yep. We have a lot to discuss about it, but we also have a lot of feelings about it. Some good, some bad, some mixed. A little bit more on the mixed side. So I'm gonna defer to you and basically, before we get your ratings and we get our ratings, what was your feeling now? Because I know both of ours out of the theater was a little bit, I don't even know what to think. But what is your feeling now after kind of letting it simmer over your mind?
It's exactly the same. If I'm going to be honest, I don't know what to think. I need to go see it again. I'm probably going to go see it again with some family or something.
Right.
And just check it out again. That's what I need to do.
I feel like I need to do it too, just because I guess we have started over watching all of the MCU universe. So I think we're on Galaxy, Guardians of the Galaxy now. Yep. Yes, that'll be our next movie. We just watched Thor: The Dark World, which actually wasn't as bad as I remember.
Yeah, it was actually really good.
It isn't as bad as I remember being. It wasn't that bad. But on EndGame, I mean, I feel a little bit better because of things I've heard afterwards, and maybe letting things that I saw in the movie okay, well, this could definitely go that way. But I'm still borderline on how exactly I feel about it. I liked it, and then I really didn't like it at the same time.
Yeah, I like parts of it, but other parts were just really confusing for me.
Right.
You'd have to be like a hardcore Marvel fanboy to get a lot of the stuff that was going on.
It's like Infinity War and the first Avengers are just superior in almost every way, in my opinion, and when it comes to those.
Yeah.
And even Ultron was kind of more.
I liked Age of Ultron.
Centered around those particular people, but everything has to come to a certain end. I mean, this is not the end of the NCU, that's for sure. We're going on to the next phase now. There's a lot more coming for a long, long, long time. But these weren't even the first Avengers. These weren't even the actual, people that grew up in, comic books that wasn't, these are just our Avengers. These are the people that we're used to being a team, and other groups we're used to seeing, so on and so forth. So it is kind of difficult.
How do you mean? What we're...
I mean, all the characters. I mean, there was other characters that we didn't see, that used to be Avengers and things like that at the very start of, the Avengers when they were first created. I mean, yeah, everyone we see, I just mean, there's so much more, and that we're just used to seeing these people. We've grown attached.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean? We've grown very attached to.
There's just Ultimate Avengers and Dark Avengers, and
right, and things that's what I mean. So it's just it was. I mean, I won't get into it yet, but it was difficult. But man, some of the parts were just they were amazing, and it was really engaging, and it wasn't really boring, and you were engaged in the movie. It was just decisions and editing and things.
There weren't parts that were boring per se. I mean, I wouldn't say any part of it was boring, but it was just kind of dragging on, I guess.
Right.
And I don't know if they were just padding the runtime or what, but they were just stuffing a lot of stuff into that runtime.
It did. It was overwhelming. I mean, especially after the weekend, we had watched Game of Thrones, and that was overwhelming, and then we went on to EndGame the next day, and it was just one of those.
I just wouldn't say
we got in the vehicle after leaving, and it was just, man, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what to think right now.
I wouldn't say overwhelming. I would just say it was just the timeline was confusing. It was confusing.
Everything was confusing.
Yeah, it wasn't too much. It was just confusing.
We're
the timeline and all that junk.
Prepare for spoilers, people. So we're gonna do the next few minutes, and we'll let you know. We'll say, no spoilers anymore. You can check in. But
we'll leave a timestamp in the
we'll get a timestamp. We'll let you know. But heavy spoilers,
well,
not heavy spoilers, but spoilers for EndGame here. What happens to Tony Stark is just it felt like, oh, that's really awesome, but then I don't know. I didn't think it should have been him. It didn't. But after thinking about it, it wasn't what was the problem with the movie for me. I think I might have felt a little bit better, but I don't think it would have changed my exact outlook on what happened in the film.
I mean, like, I feel like it was. I feel like it was good that it was him. To be real with you, that's something that I could.
I'm just
away
been
with.
Team Iron Man since the beginning. That's
just
all.
Because he's the one who started it all. It was the first MCU movie.
I mean, I understand too that
has to end with him and all that stuff.
I just thought
he was
it
born with a purpose.
It should have been Captain America, but Captain America didn't really get to live the life that Tony Stark did, and Tony Stark did. You know what I mean? And he kind of deserved it in that way. And speaking of Captain America, the ending there, he gives him the shield, Anthony Mackie, Falcon. But Anthony Mackie has come out in the last couple of days and said that he is not Captain America. I don't know what that means. You take that with, whatever you want to take it with.
Yeah. I mean,
but he says he's not Captain America, so what's he going to do? Is he going to give it to somebody? Is he going to just put it aside? Is someone going to step up? Maybe he'll come back. I don't know.
Maybe he's just waiting for somebody to, come around that's worthy of it or whatever, something like that.
Like, can we put the serum back in you? You know what I mean? Will that fix you? But I don't know. I don't know. Something's gonna happen. It was just a little odd. But good for him. But because of him going back and doing that, so many things changed and. Probably changed, and when they bit, obviously changed.
They splintered off into all those different realities, which is why it didn't affect their futures. What they said, just because he went back and did all of that, it wouldn't have affected his personal future. It would have just affected. It would have just branched off, like they were trying to explain.
And that's what I mean. It's so confusing. Realities. There's so much, and I'm sure there's people.
He came back, and nothing really got messed up in that world, but a bunch of other worlds were born out of that.
Right, but you can make changes, and that's what I'm. You hear at the end, where we're still in the spoilers at the very end. We didn't stick around for the non-end credits, which were just basically a tribute to all the movies. And at the very, very end, you hear Hammer on an Anvil, which is clearly Tony Stark in the cave.
Yep. It's Tony Stark in the cave at the beginning of not the beginning,
first Iron Man,
but the first Iron Man suit.
And then I have talked to a few people, and they were like, "Yeah, it's pretty much just saying it started with Iron Man and then ends with Iron Man." I choose to more believe that because of certain things in the comics, that Captain America probably could have saved his butt. He went and got him out of there, explained everything to him and what he needs to do, and he probably did it. Who says you can't change someone and they come back but it's like. That's what I mean. Oh, well, he's dead, because he went back. And I mean it. But that's what I mean is there's too many things. Well, this could happen, or you could do this now, or this could. It is too much for my little feeble mind to understand. I mean, I'm sure people out there know exactly what's going on and what could happen. And this is going to be happening. And
I mean, I can understand what's going on, but it's just it's a little confusing to try to wrap your head around.
I mean, it was a lot of build up, and it just wasn't exactly what I was hoping. But I did enjoy it. It was enjoyable. It's definitely rewatchable. I add it to collection and stuff later, and it'll be the one you watch at the end of this particular series. Right on. But getting on to rating here, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 smokes, but out of the most. So
I gave it. Yeah, I mean, I'd give it 3 out of 5. It wasn't the best.
I was
Infinity War was way better.
It was a hard 1.5 bad for me, in my opinion. That's why I gave it a 3, because everything else, characters and scenes and lines and one-liners and all that kind of stuff was really good. The graphics were amazing, and the development,
the CGI and all
CGI,
that stuff.
everything was just really, really well done,
really awesome.
and lots of oh my god moments and lots of crazy things. But overall,
Iron Woman was awesome. Seeing all that stuff was really, really cool.
AKA Rescue, whatever you want to call her. I'm glad they didn't go
Hulk,
with that.
Smart Hulk, whatever you want to call him. He was probably. I wouldn't say my favorite. My second favorite. My favorite would be Thor.
Right.
I mean, through the whole movie.
It was difficult seeing Scarlet. I'm sorry.
Black Widow.
Black Widow go down, but obviously it was necessary. And that was hard. Had to do it though.
Had to do things.
Which just shows you that they loved each other legit, because it's the way it goes. And
she did her own movie and her
right.
Own
so I
TV
mean, is it going to be a
series
prequel? And is it going to be this now? Can something happen? Because where did Captain America put these back, but they can still be found by someone else? And there's just a lot of questions when it comes to all those Infinity Stones and stuff. You're gonna put them back in the appropriate place or whatever you did with them. It just raises so many questions. So, do I recommend seeing it? Yes, absolutely. And we're done with the spoilers now, so you're fine. Yeah, you're good with spoilers. But yes, I did enjoy it, but that's pretty much where we stand on it. It was just, I wish I could just be like ranting and raving and being like, oh my gosh, what good movie. This is number 1, 5 out of 5, but it just wasn't. It wasn't. I can't say that.
It was an okay Marvel movie. Like, Iron Man 3 was an okay Marvel movie.
Right. Still like it, still enjoy it.
But it wasn't the best.
No, it was not the best. Either was Thor, but it's better than I remember. The Dark World, all those kind of things are a lot better than I remember. It's just, yeah. That was the feeling about it, and I wanted to clap at the end of it. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to be like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, you remember that one part, and just be talking it up. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Now, for some people, I know it did. They're like, oh, it's my favorite movie of all time, and this was great. And there was people that cried in the movie theater, and there was people that were upset and all that kind of stuff.
I heard people crying in the movie theater. You crying, boy? You crying?
Whatever. You got to do what you got to do.
That's fine.
But. Okay. Overall, go, see for yourself. If maybe you'll think of it a lot better. It is definitely worth a watch, unlike some movies.
But it's like a movie where you have had to have seen all the other movies in order to see this movie.
Basically, and unfortunately, even Captain Marvel, even a little bit, you at least need to catch up on it before you go in.
Right.
Just a little bit, even if you're going to do like a little, what should I know before going into this. Because it's that big, and to be prepared to sit down, like go to the bathroom beforehand. 3 hours.
0 bathroom.
Yeah, your butt's gonna be. We got there early during the commercial stuff, and I went and used the bathroom beforehand. I started drinking really fast because I was like, I know I'm gonna have to.
I bought a water. I didn't touch it the whole time.
Yeah, right. I
said I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah, I just had my mic and Ike's. Just rock the mic and Ike's. But it's the movie experience, and that was the fun part of it. On the big screen, it was a big screen, and it was a cool time to watch. So definitely do yourself a favor and go ahead and check it out. The next movie we're going to see is actually on my birthday, May 10th. It's going to be Detective Pikachu. We're going to check that out.
Yep, Detective Pikachu.
Looking forward to it. I mean, the reviews so far are fantastic, and it looks great. Everything I've seen, I don't want to see any more of it because I don't want to get spoiled.
Yep.
So I'm pretty much okay on what I've seen so far, and I'm excited to see it. I'm excited for Ryan Reynolds. I'm excited to see the Pokemon in the flesh like that, and I'm just excited for that movie.
It's going to be really, really good.
I'm excited for that movie.
I'm just hoping that, it's a good storyline or whatever. I haven't heard or read anything about what the story is, what the plot is, or nothing.
I mean, I'm
just hoping it's just really, really good.
Pikachu used to be a detective with the kid in the movie's father, and he disappeared. So they're going to find him. And that's pretty much the premise. And it's like, why is he gone? The whole mystery, and what is he doing? Probably has something to do with a few of the Pokemon in the trailer. Mewtwo, probably alongside of that, things of that nature. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see everything we haven't seen in the trailer that'll pop up in the movie and just kind of be like, oh my God, finally.
Have one question for you.
Yeah.
Are you excited to see this movie?
I'm very excited.
I can tell.
Seriously, I am very extremely excited to see this movie. I mean, Pokemon has been my jam for a long time. I'm ready and waiting. It's just about time we've seen a live action, and this one actually seems to have some hope in it. It's not going to be one of those you just put in the $5 bin at Walmart after the first month it's released. So I'm definitely excited. Excited.
Just like this Sonic movie that's coming out, they're finally doing redesigns on it.
Yeah, thank you, God.
They're doing redesigns.
I hope people are aware of finally that trailer, and if you liked it,
if you've seen it, if you just go and just look up just Sonic the Hedgehog the movie, look it up and watch it. It's a good trailer except for Sonic. Sonic just looks like a crackhead.
It looks horrible.
The entire internet went crazy over it, and
including
they hated
us.
it. And I hated it. Everybody hated it. And they went through, and some people actually did redesigns that look really, really good and really actually close to the actual video game. But, and the director heard him out. And he tweeted earlier today, I believe it was, saying that, you know what, we're going to put in the work, and it might push the movie back, but we're going to go ahead and redo the whole thing.
Because I like Jim Carrey being Professor Robotnik
Everything else
or
is good.
Eggman.
It's just that's the one thing that everybody was super angry
Music,
about.
action, sound effects, the premise of the movie, the idea behind it, everything was good except when you look at Sonic. Even when he's in his Sonic motion, he looks awesome. It looks amazing. But when he's standing up and doing normal stuff, it's like
they gave him
hashtag not my freaking Sonic. Who are you?
They gave him human eyes and a human mouth and
legs.
It's super weird.
Legs are just weird. He's got like an archway going on there. It's just, it was very disturbing. It was horrible, and it made you cringe. And thank God, the internet shouted, and they heard.
They gave him too long of a torso. And it's
just way too long. It's just, it's unnatural, man.
It
just makes you think, makes you wonder what in the hell they were thinking when they let that go, when they had those designs in their front of them. You're telling me no one he stood up?
Now, like, whenever these redesigns happen, he didn't say that he's going to use any of these as templates that people have done or use the actual Sonic as a template. He just said, we're going to redo it.
Right.
And whatever that means. It could mean they're going to shoot off in their own direction again and
to
make
be honest
it even
with
worse.
you, as long as they anything but that.
They could just make it, they could make it even...
At this point, it's coming out whether we like it or not, so at least help fix it a little bit. Because I am excited about the movie. I'm just not excited about that. But if they're going to fix it, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'll check it out as long as they fix it, and then we'll have to see a new trailer with it or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Show me.
Yeah, show me. Which will probably be a little bit for that, and it probably will push the movie. You got reshoots, which are normal in all movies.
It was slated to come out in September or November, something like that. So I don't see that happening. I see December, maybe January next year. So.
Probably. I mean, like I said, don't put it out if it's not right. No matter what.
Yeah.
No matter what is happening in your movie, if it's just getting that kind of response, stop.
Cool to see that, and a director actually heard people out and was like, okay, fine, we'll fix it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, really.
Plus, he doesn't want to make this movie flop because I'm sure
because he heard what we're saying, too. A lot of people have said that. There's certain things he's like, people are like, what if this is good? What if this movie is good, and then we literally have to look at that, and then it
probably
just
will be.
It probably will be good. He just looks awful.
We'll just have to stare at that.
It's not. It's like Chinchilla, the hedgehog, or whatever. Sonic the Chinchilla. I mean, it's just not. I don't know what that is, man. Just not cool. But thank God, that's awesome. We can breathe a little easy on that. I know some people were just terrified. And they're very worried, and I know some people that were still like, yeah, I'm still going to go see it because Sonic's my jam. But now, at least, your spirits can be lifted a little bit because it's
lifted.
They have
slightly.
heard, so it's a very, very good thing.
Yep.
And on to, I guess, other movies. There's a lot of other things going on in the universe of movies right now, but Indiana Jones 5 is in rewrites again.
Yep.
Which is another case of if it's not ready, or it's not right, then you fix it.
Then just don't put it out.
Which is good, because you can't. After the response of The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I actually enjoy, which I know lots of people don't, and I understand why. It's okay. But if you're going to do Indiana Jones 5 and have old Harrison Ford, which he's still the man, and probably pass it on to someone else, like maybe Chris Pratt, then you got to do it right. So get it right and deliver us the best product you can.
Give us a good movie,
George Lucas has been working on all kinds of movies and things, including Game of Thrones and the new Star Wars and stuff. So I couldn't see Steven Spielberg not being like, yo, George, what's going on, man? Let's get this done. Just no aliens, bro.
Right.
And then we'll get it out the way.
Let's not do the aliens.
Let's not do the aliens, and we'll be fine. And nothing crazy. No nuclear explosions. Giving people reasons to whine.
Right.
And then we'll be fine. Just make classic. I need to go find this artifact. Let's go find it.
He's just making. He made a movie that he wanted to make.
Pretty much.
Because he's rich enough, he doesn't care.
That's what he was doing at the end. I mean, that's why people don't like the prequels either, because he was doing what he wanted to do.
Yeah, he wanted to do what he wanted to do.
He had the technology, and he's like, yeah, I can finally do this colorful, bright world that I wanted to,
So, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So as long as it goes into rewrites and it's good.
Exactly. And that's fine with me. And if it's just in rewrites, that means they probably still have, lots of good stuff that they're going to give us. They're just like, I don't like how you're ending this, or I don't like this character, get him out. Which is fine. That's cool. So, which I'm glad movies are doing that more recently. Just being like, okay, nope, we can't put it out, because it's just there's so many movies coming out on just such a rapid pace all the time. It's hard to keep up. It's hard to watch.
There's a lot coming out.
It's just a crazy rate.
Just like Hellboy came out and went away quick.
Went away real quick, and they're still mixed on that. Hellboy's awesome, but the movie's
didn't
not.
get a chance to catch it in theaters or nothing. Just It was in and out.
In and out, which is sad. But it's gonna be one of those movies that'll probably be a cult classic. That's what a lot of people are saying. It'll be one of those.
It'll be good. Yeah.
I mean, the first Hellboy did the same thing. It was the same way. It didn't become good until it was released on DVD.
I'm sure it's good.
What's a DVD?
What's a DVD?
Other movie news, we got Quentin Tarantino. He says that his Star Trek is still alive. And, to me, I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I have respect for Star Trek. It's Star Wars all day. I'll wreck some Trekkie skulls, but I have respect. And to me, it's like, maybe it is time for something new, creative, crazy, gory, jelly, bloody type Star Trek movie. Because
it might be crazy.
It would be crazy. It'd be awesome. Because technically, if you go back and look at some of the older films, it is pretty gritty and raw and bloody and grimy and things of that nature. And it's been kind of flashy and fancy,
it's got the lens flares,
lens flares, things of that
and
nature,
J.J.
type
Abrams
of things, and then it's not JJ anymore,
right?
And it's beyond, and it's weird characters,
so
and
it
shot
might go
weird.
back to practicality,
and the music too, the soundtrack stuff that just was just odd and off-putting. But to me, Quentin Tarantino's Star Trek movie is, hey, I think he's the man to pull it out of this weird funk that it's in. Why not?
Yeah, so, hopefully. And
good for him.
It probably won't. It definitely won't be as flashy as the last 3 that have come out.
Right.
So
true.
It'll be good. It'll be good.
I have faith in him. And if he's been working on it a long time. So and with the shows they got going on right now, and you if you're gonna keep it going, you got to compete with Star Trek. I mean, you can't compete with Star Wars, but there's so many Star Trek fans. You have to give those people, because the Star Trek fans alone will give them all they need.
Oh yeah.
As long as they put out a quality Star Trek movie, every single one of them is gonna like it and watch it.
Gonna go and like it and love it and watch it.
And repeatedly watch it. Which Star Wars nerds do too. Keep spending the money and going and watching it repeatedly because you just want it to be out already.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it in your space cave there a little bit. Spacers setting Hyper A.
Captain's chair.
You've been invited to the captain's table. Captain's table. What an honor. So, hey, good for Star Trek. I hope he does. I hope he drops in it. That'd be a cool movie. I'd actually be interested in going seeing that. And on to, we're going to get on to Star Wars here. As we have this whole thing of, is the Emperor, is he alive? Is he what? Is he a ghost? I mean, we've heard he's in it, so be prepared to see him. Is it a flashback? We have no idea. But before we jump into that, we're going to tip our caps and be a little sad for just a few seconds. And old Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca, rest in peace.
Passed away, 74.
74 today, May 2nd, 2019. And we all know he's been suffering for a long time. He had a hard time walking, speaking, pretty much doing anything. He gave it one last good run, and Force Awakens, and I think a little bit in The Last Jedi, and he has the greatest cane of all time. His Star Wars canes, they're like the greatest ever. He's the coolest. But it is it's sad to hear when anybody from anywhere dies, but when it's someone that was behind that mask and that brought that character to life, it does suck to hear. I'm sure he's in a better place now and not in pain anymore and doesn't have to suffer like that anymore. But it still sucks. So just a few seconds. R.I.P. Chewbacca.
R.I.P. Chewbacca. So. And
when it comes to Star Wars, before we started about talking about Peter Mayhew, R.I.P. is R.I.P. Sorry, sorry, it hit me a little bit there. I got a little misty-eyed. Peter Mayhew. But the Emperor. I mean, I know we touched about it a little bit in the last episode, which is like, you need to see it. I want to see it because I'm not going to make any speculations, because there's literally going to be speculations and rumors until the movie comes out. So it's pretty much like, okay, we know he's in it, right on. But if you had to take a guess right now, what do you think? Is he there? Is he a flashback, or is he something that we have no idea? What will be your guess?
I think he's just there, to be honest with you.
I honestly think he's there too.
I think he survived the fall. I think he I think he used the Force to bring himself back and, from the dead, like he said to Anakin. You can't learn it from a Jedi, but he knew how.
Yeah,
so
he knew how. He knew the way. He was doing a lot of things. There's a lot of things coming out of canon.
He was going to, use it either way, either for himself or he was going to teach it to him and pass it along. So I'm assuming he used it for himself.
And according to Star Wars theory, him coming back is part of a prophecy. And that the rise of the Skywalker means that all Skywalkers will rise at the same time because they have to bring down the ultimate evil that's been around for so long, which is him.
Right.
Which would be cool to me. I don't want any Rey's cloned from the hand, and the Emperor was like making a bunch of people, and like they all got a hand. He's been controlling them like with his ghost or whatever. Yeah. It's just too much. Like if he's gonna be a Force ghost thing and he could do things like Yoda did in Last Jedi, okay, cool, rock on. But if he's not, I don't want it to be that. I don't want it to be something clumsy and flimsy. But I don't think it will. I honestly agree with you. I think he's alive. I think he's been down there. He's probably not his old self. Obviously, he's probably a little messed up. Maybe has some robotics attached to him or something, and he's in maybe some kind of chamber of that nature. But all those things are so much possible. But I haven't been as excited of any. I was excited for The Force Awakens, but I was scared. I'm not nervous or scared about this movie. I have complete faith in J.J. Abrams.
Yeah,
I have complete faith in everyone that's in it, because I know if they didn't, they wouldn't be, and that's Mark Hamill. He would not be doing jack squat if he didn't agree with this movie, because after the last movie and the way things happened, there was no way in my mind that he would be part of anything in this movie if it wasn't exactly what he thinks needs to be done. Yeah. So I have faith, and I'm very excited.
I think it's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a bad movie. I think it's going to be a great movie. It's going to be a good end to it. And
the bonus for me is for it to be so good that it makes The Last Jedi more tolerable than it is for a lot of people, including myself.
Right.
Because that's the beauty of Blu-ray and DVD and all that. You can just skip, and I will skip the Canto Bight and sever the Benicio del Toro parts and just watch the movie. Right. And then it'll connect to the other one and be like, oh, yeah, that's right, because this is happening and that happened. I want it all to flow together. If this is the end, if this is the wrapping it up at all, the whole series with Palpatine and Anakin and Luke and everybody, do it right, and I believe it will. So I'm very excited.
It'll be good. It'll be good when it comes out, but we'll see.
We will see. Well, another empire is Disney, and as everybody knows, there's a lot of Disney movies coming out, live action. There's a couple that have already have. We got Aladdin coming out soon, and they got Lion King. We got Dumbo that just released, and there's already been Beauty and the Beast already released, and Jungle Book. Jungle Book is right now, to me, which was my next question. Right now, Jungle Book is my favorite looking and that I've watched so far. But when all of them are said and done, when obviously it's Aladdin and Lion King, and I'm sure there's probably going to be a few more. What do you think will be like the best? Which movie you think will come out that's live action on it and just
I think we talked about this on the last episode or maybe the episode before. I said the Lion King definitely will come out the best. I mean, that's just
does it have to be a shot for shot, you think, of the original to pull that off, or do you think
No, not at all, because like I said, people will take their kids to see it multiple times, and they probably won't take them to Aladdin or Dumbo multiple times because they're going to be darker-ish movies.
Darker is different,
just different feelings and
all
different atmosphere. And
National Geographic, but
definitely the Lion King's definitely going to come out on top. I mean,
I agree.
The cast included. I mean, just the cast alone will put it out on top.
I think Aladdin would have to be like it would this if we haven't seen something and it's just so incredibly amazing, it'll blow us out of the way. But even then, I think you're right. I think Lion King will be on top no matter what movie comes out that's eventually live action.
There's nothing that Aladdin can do that will beat the Lion King. There's nothing that Dumbo can do that'll beat the Lion King. There's nothing that obviously the Jungle Book can do now to beat the Lion King. I mean, and it hasn't even come out yet, and there's just still mad hype about it constantly.
Well, the trailer we saw and during Avengers EndGame was pretty good, especially seeing it on the big screen. You actually get to see, the detail and the tone that they're going and the voices that are in it and stuff. It's It's pretty good ensemble. I think you're going to be right, man. I think it's just going to be that you'll have that old feeling of when people die in that movie and things that happen, and it'll be emotional just like it was back then. Because it was. It's still, it is definitely one of the best Disney movies ever made. So.
Oh yeah, best.
I think you're right when it comes to that. I think you're definitely right. It'd be Lion King for the win.
Yeah, Lion King all the way, 100%. I'd put money on it.
All right, how much?
$10.
Okay, I'll take that bet.
Okay.
Only on the fact that I think there's other movies that are going to come out that are surprise us, and they'll pull like a Guardians of the Galaxy on Lion King's butt.
Okay.
So I'll take that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Q.
Well, from movies we go to TV, and it is very short to TV, but it's also very huge. Game of Thrones. Bro.
It's awesome.
Bruh.
Yeah.
What the heck? That episode, this show
for Winterfell, it was amazing. It was the best thing I've ever seen.
Careful for spoilers on this one, but I mean, it's just seriously, if you haven't watched it, I understand.
If you're a fan and you haven't watched it yet, come on,
seriously. But I understand some of you are, like, oh, I'm catching up. Well, catch up already. But just this episode of Game of Thrones, to me, was not only the best episode of Game of Thrones, was probably one of the best episodes on TV of all time, next to like the Battle of the Bastards, which is also Game of Thrones, and then maybe a couple episodes of Band of Brothers from back in the day, the HBO show, things of that nature. But overall, I mean, they all
pale in comparison.
It was heart pounding. It was anxiety filled. It was emotional. It was crazy. It was funny. It was cool. It was definitely what I wish EndGame would have been, that kind of thing, the whole entire film.
In my opinion, the big news of the weekend was that episode of Game of Thrones. It wasn't even EndGame.
Yeah, exactly. It was, talk about perfect timing on their part.
Yeah.
Like, check this out. Everyone's going to be watching. Nobody's going to the movie Sunday night, so it's all good. Check this. But... I mean, honestly, it was just, there's so much about this episode that was amazing. We'll get to the end in a second, but man, just from the very beginning when the first march happens,
basically just throws you right in.
Throws you immediately, and you get no time to, oh yeah, what's going on? Oh God, oh, and who's that? Oh God, and then it just one of those. It was. I was shaking. My heart was pounding, and it's just, I had to stand up for a second. You saw me. I almost knocked a bunch of crap over. It was just so much going on at one time, and
that was awesome. It was great.
I don't know if you heard, but people are bitching about this episode, which everybody bitches. There's a billion different things people are bitching on. That's what we'll get to before we wrap up the end of this episode of the show. But why? Seriously, if you are bitching about the brightness or how dark it was, guess what? There's a function on your TV that's existed for quite some time, and you can turn your brightness up and you can see it much better.
You can turn it up, and
if it's that much of a deal for you. But the point of that episode was to be like that. It was to make you want to look and pay attention and be scared. And
it was supposed to be black.
You were supposed to feel like them.
You weren't supposed to see, the army of the dead, because that's what they are. They're just death. They're black. Death. They're nothing. You're not supposed to be able to see them. And they came through, and that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. They just came out of the darkness and threw you right in. It was literally 5 minutes into the episode, and they the battle started 5 minutes in, and it lasted almost basically the entire hour and a half that it was on.
The craziest thing was when they actually got to Winterfell up close and personal, and they just those just skulls and dead things just ravaged that whole front line of the Unsullied.
Yeah, like that whole the whole part that they were talking about with Melisandre, where she lit up everybody's swords is supposed to make you feel better about what's going on, and then they just run off into the darkness, and then you just see them one by one get taken out, and it was nerve-wracking. It was crazy.
I know we called it too. I think I called it right before. I was like, watch the spoilers. The what are they called?
Dothraki.
The Dothraki. I'm sorry. I want
Riders.
to say Khaleesi, but that's what her name is. I don't know why I have it in
The
my head.
Blood Riders.
And they had their swords lit, and they go on, and I'm like, I'm gonna call it right here. They're just gonna get wiped out, and then they just run into a wall of giants and monsters and the undead, and were just immediately extinguished by the dead, and it was just. It was eye-opening. It was jaw-dropping, and then it was like, okay, now I get it. It was gonna be the serious, and then it took a thing where it was just like. Immediately, you're like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, dragons obviously show up and we're cool and we got this for a second. And
it was just very, very dark.
It was everything happening was just, it was going to be bad. You should look on everyone's faces and how terrified they were.
You knew a lot of people were going to die, and you knew a lot of people that have been through the whole series were going to die, on that night.
Right.
And it all happened all at once. It was crazy. They just threw it all in all at once, and Arya came in and did her thing, and killed the Night King. Dead. Killed him dead.
And there's people whining about that too. That they don't think. Why did she get to do it?
Why does she get to do it? Why did she do it so early? Why this? Why? It's like, why keep him around for another 3 episodes?
Right.
Why do that?
Why do that?
When Cersei is down south with the Golden Company.
The show's called Game of Thrones. If they didn't know, it's not Game of the Undead.
Game of Ice King. Yeah, it's not Battle for the North or anything like that.
No. So they need to get off their high horse and
it's a battle of fire and ice.
So off of spoilers, you guys are okay for right now. We'll let you know. But overall, 5 out of 5 Mo's, 10 out of 10, everything, 100 for that episode. To me, there was no cons in that episode to me, besides the fact that I wanted more, and you're just the ending was coming, and then you're like, oh god, yeah, weak. That's really it. That was the only con. It was just like, oh my god, I'm ready instantly already because I've already been on this roller coaster. I've seen this happen. We get to breathe for a second, and then it's like, oh my god, what next? Because it seemed like the world was ending. And it was a freaking emotional roller coaster.
It was a fight for the end of the world, and they had to do it. I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
Oh yeah, awesome. All day. Please catch up. Do yourself a favor and get on it. Get on that, and so you can watch this episode.
Get on it.
Please, so that you can even come back at this episode and check it out. What we think about it. But amazing. This show just keeps getting better and better. Am I nervous for the next episode? Yes. Am I nervous for the last 2? Not as much because of what just happened.
No.
If this wouldn't have happened the way I feel a little different.
They can get through that. They can probably get through Cersei. Maybe.
Right. And well, I mean, and to me at this point, it's one of those things where, well, okay, you know what? However it goes, good job. Because you did something that was just,
that was awesome.
Whoa. So,
it was awesome
good on you.
Start to finish.
And you do what you got to do to get through. There's lots of enemies, but there's still some help out there, which, we kind of talked about this during the week. People are wondering, okay, what are they going to do now? There's a few people that can help, and there's a few that I think we've just straight forgotten about.
Right.
Even myself, I can't even think right now.
Yeah.
With it, but I know there's going to be someone that's probably going to show up.
People that come back, from out of the blue.
Oh yeah, it's bound to happen.
From season 1, some obscure.
I mean, Westeros is really huge, so it's it's very, very massive. So I'm excited for the closure. I'm not even going to be as sad to see it end now because of prequels and how much episode we have. Because of that episode, it was that good to me.
Yeah, I'm not even sad to see it end. I want it to end.
Yeah, I want it to end now. I want to know what's going on. What's up? I just want to see it finished.
Who's sitting on the throne, if there even is a throne.
Yeah, if there even is one. So. That's what I'm excited about now, and it's kind of a good feeling to not be that oh my god anymore, because that episode was just it was mind blowing. I mean, bravo on them.
All that build up.
I'm very excited that those guys are in charge of some of the new Star Wars movies, the Knights of the Old Republic and things of that nature. Because if they can do what they did in the live episode and just a touch of it and what they're going to do with Star Wars, I mean, you got a golden nugget. So that's going to be very extremely cool. Well, I mean, hey, we're on a good pace. I think it's been a really good episode. We're rolling right along. We're at the almost 50-minute mark now, and we're gonna go off of the TV movies, and we covered the games for you, and we're gonna move on to sports. This is the I Don't Mow show, so of course we're gonna give you some Missouri related news of what's going on in the sports world.
Yep.
And unless you're living in a barn with no reception anywhere, no cell phone, you'll know that the Blues and the Stars are in the second round, and the series is now tied 2-2. Because of
Series is tied
it was a weird blah blah
2-2,
blah game last night.
It was just kind of a.
It was a shoot
sucky
show.
game.
Yeah,
it was a shoot show.
But there was a lot in that game, and toward the end, that gave me faith into the next one. And now it is a best of 3, and we have home ice. But if you lose tomorrow, and then you have to go back to Dallas at 2 p.m., mind you, with this stupid time, it's going to be tough. But if you can go and win tomorrow, and force to make sure you either close them out in Dallas or come home again,
right?
They can do this. But to me,
yeah,
I mean, it's tough. Yeah. Could they lose tomorrow and then go and just show them up on Sunday and come back and force Game 7 and win? Absolutely. Anything can happen at this point.
I think they can do it.
I think they can.
Go the distance.
I think we're wearing this team down, and I think last night was they were doing things while we were caught off guard. They were giving it everything they had last night. And we still had a chance to win that game.
They were saying in the, during the intermission reports and stuff like that, they were shuffling around their first and second lines and all that junk, and we just weren't paying attention. They caught us off guard with our pants down, and they took advantage, and now the series is tied. So.
Which, hey, I said 6 or 7, and it's obviously clearly going 6 or 7. It's going the distance. It's been back and forth, and if you go with the way the series has gone, kind of like the way we won all the road games in the last series, it's a win-lose, and hey, if you're doing the math, that means the Blues win tomorrow, they lose on Sunday, and they come back to St. Louis on Tuesday and win, and go on to the Western Conference Final. If that's the case, you just keep doing it. So go Blues, man. It's hard to say whether I'm either nervous or excited because we've been here just so many times. I've been here my whole life. I've experienced it all. I've been there. And the only thing I haven't experienced is them being in the Cup. So that's what I want. I want the new experience of what this team can do, and I believe they can do it. So get there and, change the face and prove everyone wrong, and, hey, prove Vegas right now. Because you're up there, guys. You're 15-4 odds right now to win the Cup.
And everybody's talking about, Jordan Bennington going after Ben last night, and they think he's cracking under the pressure or something like that.
But he's been doing that his whole career.
Which is just a bunch of hooey, because if you go back and you look it up when he was playing for San Antonio, he got into it with basically the entire team. So, I mean, he's not...
He does what he has to. Was he frustrated about some goals and some things they were doing? Absolutely. Is it going to rattle him for the next game? No. He's not even thinking about it now.
Right.
He's thinking about winning. Because if he keeps doing and keep him in these games and these Blues pump in some goals, they're going to be fine. Tomorrow, very big game. Yes, unfortunately, again, a stupid start of 8:30. But, whatever. It's Friday. So I think we're going to do it. I think we go up 3-2. We win this thing in 6 or 7. But I'm proud of them regardless. But I do have a different feeling about this season, about the worry. We haven't hit that point yet. We haven't had to experience that so far in the playoffs. I don't want to. I don't need it. We don't need that feeling. We don't want the down and out, and this is the last what we got. I don't want that. I want to do it to them. So, and I think we will. And continuing on Missouri sports, we got the St. Louis Cardinals' best record in the major leagues, even after this evening, dropping 2-1 to the Washington Nationals, but we did win the series 3-1. So the Cardinals are 20-11 right now, which is not bad. Guys are hitting, bullpen's doing great. It's pretty much a mostly pro, a few cons with this team. Everything can be worked on, but it's baseball. You got 162 games. You've only played 31, so a lot of baseball to go. But what about this team do you like? What is it about the Cardinals so far that you're just like, you know what, yeah, I like them, I dig them, I have faith in them getting the playoffs?
I like their offense, their bats. That's just where it's coming from right now because their defense isn't all there. We had a bunch of errors earlier today. We had a couple of them. I think 2 errors, and just we're just not good on defense. But yeah, we're really really good on offense. We just need to work on our fielding. That's about it.
I mean, honestly, to me, it's the core, the leadership, the coaching staff, everyone on it, kind of coming together and kind of being a little bit like the Blues of it seems more like a team than we've seen in the recents, and they've had that little rocky start against the Brewers, and now they've owned the Brewers, and now they're in first place, and keeping on a good stride, and everything's kind of coming together. And really, right now, it's like Matt Carpenter's the only one that's not really hitting, and obviously Tyler O'Neill is in the talks of being traded, and he's not doing very good. He was over 4 with 4 strikeouts tonight, so that's not good. Those things are not good in that nature. But
the season,
but basically everyone else we got
get traded. So.
Right. I'm thinking so. Unfortunately, even I know some ladies out there might be a little disappointed in that one. Some guys too. Whatever. But I definitely think he's probably going to be the one that hits the road. And to me, that's right now. It's the only weak link. But Matt Carpenter did the same thing last year, and then he tore it up in the end and gave him a chance to get in the playoffs. He really. And it's just what he does. He needs some more of that mojo salsa, and he'll be fine.
Yep.
And be dipping on second base, and score the run. But I mean, overall, I've been excited to see this team. I know we're going to a few games this year. We're going on the July 27th game against the Astros, so that should be a good time. And we're going to try to go to another one. But it's just finally good to the players on the roster and the guys you're seeing up. You're having faith in these guys, and you're not like this jerk again or whatever, he's no Tyler Greens and, things of that nature.
There's nobody that really
nobody that stands out that really worries you.
Out.
And if there is someone that gets down, the team's going to bring them back up and help them. So very excited about the season. If you keep doing what you're doing, they're going to be in the playoffs and hopefully fighting for a championship. But a lot of good things in Missouri. Missouri Tigers looking good in spring. They still got a few issues with, their ban on the bowl, which they are appealing right now. If Mizzou football fans that know that goes for actually basketball and baseball, I think, and
goes for all sports. They
for all
play
sports. But hopefully we get that taken care of. But we got a great quarterback this year and really good things. Speaking of great quarterbacks, Mizzou native Mizzou player. Quarterback Drew Lock was drafted by the Denver Broncos.
Yep.
So Drew Lock is a Denver Bronco now, which is very cool. I'm glad he went to a
second round.
A decent team, and he gets to play for John Elway. That's pretty cool. It's got to be great. I'm very excited for him. But other than that, man, that's pretty much all I got on the docket for movies, sports, games, and TV today, man. Hey, it was a good episode. Kind of smooth, like creamy butter. It was a fun time. I was just glad to get the time monkey off our back and get this thing rolling again. And the next episode is, you guessed it, episode 10. So it'll be a celebration. It'll probably be our biggest ever. We got a few announcements to make, and nothing huge, nothing crazy. You all know what we have coming, what our plans are. We've said it a million times in all our episodes. Like and subscribe. Let your friends know. Hit that bell on YouTube. Like us on Facebook. Spread the word so we can be heard. A lot of good stuff coming. A lot of good episodes. We got a lot of good guests coming, and it should be a good chime. Good chime. And with that note, Charlie, it was a good time, man. This is the Idaho Mo Show. I'm Nathan J.
I'm Charlie P. Peace.